This is an easy one-pot chili dinner that is packed full of flavor and texture. So let's get started. I have about a pound of ground beef, and I'm adding in a little salt and black pepper, cooking on medium heat and chopping into pieces. There is a good bit of fat in this ground beef, so I'm draining and then adding in some diced onions and bell peppers. Stirring to combine, and then I'm adding in a little more salt, black pepper, and minced garlic. Cooking and stirring for a couple minutes. I just love that smell. Adding a couple tablespoons of tomato paste, and again stirring in to combine. Just a reminder that you'll be able to find this recipe, the list of ingredients, and much more in the Show More section below. I've also included links where you can purchase online some of the ingredients and the equipment that I use in this video recipe. If you have a chance, please check it out. Now for the liquids. I have a cup of chicken broth, and you can use vegetable or beef. I'm also adding in a can of crushed tomatoes. I'm turning up my heat to bring this up to a simmer. Stirring well, and next are the spices. I'm adding in a pinch more of salt, oregano, smoked paprika, cumin, chili powder, and for the spicy I'm adding in a tablespoon of chipotle adobo sauce. You can add in some chopped chipotle pepper, but I just have the sauce tonight. You could also use red pepper flakes or even some cayenne pepper for the spicy. You add the spicy that you like. Giving that a good stir and simmering for 10 minutes to get all those spices married together. After 10 minutes, I'm adding the sweet potatoes. I peeled and chopped the sweet potatoes into about 1/4 to 1/2 inch cube pieces. You can leave the skin on if you wish. Giving that a stir, bringing up to a simmer, and cooking for 10 minutes. We have about 10 more minutes of cooking, and now I'm adding in some rinsed and drained black beans. Giving that a stir, and I'm adding a little more chicken broth to thin out the sauce. I like the sweet potato and black bean chili on the thick side, but you can make it the consistency that you like. Tasting for any seasonings, and I am adding in a little more cumin, chili powder, salt, and garlic powder. Giving that a good stir and simmering for 10 to 15 more minutes, or until the sweet potatoes are tender. This sweet potato, black bean, and beef chili is done, and I can't wait to dig in. This is a spicy, rich, and comforting chili. The sweet potatoes add a nice texture and just absorb all those spices and flavor. Topping tonight with some grated cheddar cheese, chopped green onions, and a dab of sour cream. This chili really hit the spot on this cold winter evening. Hope you give this sweet potato, black bean, and beef chili a try, and enjoy. So let's get started. In my skillet on medium-high, I have a pound of lean ground beef. Chopping and spreading out, and I'm letting it cook for a minute so it will caramelize and form a brown crust. This adds a good amount of flavor. I'm not chopping the beef too much as I want there to be some nice-sized pieces. If you're using a fattier ground beef, you may want to drain off some of the excess fat. You want a good 3 to 4 tablespoons of fat on the bottom because next we are adding in the flour. I'm cooking and stirring for a minute or two to absorb all the flour and cook out that raw flour taste. Just a reminder that I will leave the recipe and the list of ingredients for this homemade hamburger gravy below this video. Also remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video recipe and click the bell to make sure you receive notification of all my future video recipes. Next, I'm adding in some chicken broth, just a little at a time. You can use water or beef broth. As you can see, the gravy is starting to form. For the seasonings, I'm making it real simple, and I'm adding in a packet of onion soup mix. To make it creamier, I'm also adding in a can of cream of mushroom soup. With the onion soup mix and cream of mushroom soup, I didn't need to add any salt. I am adding a little black pepper. Giving that a good mix, bringing up to a simmer, cooking and stirring for 5 minutes. Give it a taste test for any seasonings. I'm also adding in a little Worcestershire sauce and a little more black pepper. For a pop of brightness, I'm adding in some frozen peas. Giving that another good stir to heat the peas through, and we are ready to eat. If you like the gravy a little thinner, you can add more broth or water. I'm serving the homemade hamburger gravy over biscuits. I've also served this over toast, waffles, potatoes, or rice. This is such an easy and quick go-to meal. A definite comfort food. I hope you give this homemade hamburger gravy a try and enjoy. This Southern stewed chicken dinner is loaded with Southern Cajun flavor. It does take time to make, but it is well worth it. You all know by now that bone-in chicken thighs are my preference. You want to use bone-in chicken for this recipe as the chicken will be stewed or cooked low and slow. The bone-in pieces hold up better in the cooking and add tons more flavor. I have a family pack of bone-in chicken thighs that I cleaned, trimmed, dried, and now seasoning with some salt, black pepper, and you can use your favorite Cajun seasoning. I'm seasoning the skin side first, and will season the other side once in the pan. In my deep cast iron skillet on medium-high heat, I added some vegetable oil and placing my chicken thigh skin side down. You want to use a large deep skillet or pan for this recipe, as you'll be adding 2 quarts of liquid and you want to have enough room. Seasoning the chicken and then flipping once the skin has browned and loosened from the pan, and this is going to take 5 to 7 minutes on the skin side and 3 to 4 minutes on the other side. You may need to adjust your heat from a medium-high to a medium as you just want to form a nice brown crust. Once browned, remove the chicken from the pan and set to the side. I have about a half a cup of oil and chicken fat in the bottom of the pan along with all the chicken bits. On medium heat, I'm adding in a good pat of butter, a finely diced large onion, 3 stalks of celery, and about half of a large bell pepper. I'm using red, but you can use green or any color. The onion, celery, and bell pepper is called the Cajun Holy Trinity in cooking. Cooking and stirring for 3 to 4 minutes, and you will see right away that the moisture from the vegetables will help deglaze the pan and soak up all that chicken flavor. Now I'm adding in a good tablespoon of minced garlic, cooking and stirring for another minute. I still have my heat on a medium to low medium, and I'm adding in a half a cup of flour. This is going to make a roux and help thicken our stew. Cooking and stirring for 3 to 4 minutes. You want the fat to absorb all the flour. Keep stirring and scraping the bottom so nothing sticks or burns. You want to give the flour a good toasting to get rid of the raw flavor. Once the flour starts changing color, I'm going to start adding in the liquid. I'm adding in a little at a time. You can use water, but I like to add in chicken broth to enhance the flavor. Turning my heat up to bring this up to a simmer, adding a little at a time and stirring. The only spice I'm adding in at this time is a teaspoon more of the Cajun seasoning. I will taste it along the way for more spices, giving that a good stir. Now I'm placing all the chicken and the juices back into the pan, bringing this up to a simmer and cooking uncovered for an hour. Halfway through, I will give the chicken a flip and will occasionally stir to make sure nothing sticks. Just a reminder that you'll be able to find this recipe and the list of ingredients below this video. Also remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel so you can receive notifications of my future video recipes. It's been an hour and I gave the stewed chicken a taste. You can see the liquid is reduced some. I'm adding in a little garlic powder and a good dose of hot sauce. You can use your favorite brand and the amount that you like. I'm adding in a good tablespoon, but I like to have it on the table in case anybody wants to hot up their southern stewed chicken. Now is also a good time to skim any fat or impurities off the top. Simmering for another 30 minutes and it will be ready. The chicken is simmered for a total of an hour and a half. The chicken is tender and falling off the bone. At this point, you can serve the chicken as is, or you can shred the chicken and add it back into the stew. Tonight I'm serving the stewed chicken as is. I removed the chicken, and what is left is a pot full of chicken goodness. This consistency here is just fine, but I like it thicker like a gravy, so I'm adding in a cornstarch water slurry. This is a tablespoon, and I'm adding in about half, and I think that might be enough. Letting that simmer for a couple minutes and it will be ready. It's smelling so good. Tonight I'm serving the stewed chicken with a side of white rice, but you can serve it with mashed potatoes or noodles. I also made an upside down Vidalia onion and jalapeno cornbread. I used my 6-inch cast iron pans. I browned and caramelized about a 1/2 inch slice of Vidalia onion in each pan. I turned off my heat and added sliced jalapeno peppers around the onion and then poured my cornbread mixture on top and spread out evenly. I baked as usual, removed, let slightly cool, and then turned over. I must say they turned out beautiful and extra good. It's real simple to do and I'm sure your family will love it. Now it's time to serve and eat. The chicken is so tender, and the gravy is concentrated with those flavors of chicken, all the vegetables, and the Cajun spice. Very satisfying and comforting. I hope you give this Southern stewed chicken dinner a try, and enjoy. I call this a baked ravioli casserole, but I've also seen it called ravioli bake or ravioli lasagna. Whatever you call it, it is good. I'm starting by making my sauce. I'm using my meat sauce recipe for spaghetti. If you haven't seen that video recipe, I will leave a link here and in the Show More section below. This is a great multi-purpose sauce for any kind of pasta, and it's also great on rice. You can make this baked ravioli casserole recipe real simple and use your favorite jarred sauce. And you can even use an Alfredo sauce, which is also really good. In making my meat sauce, I use ground beef and brown it off and chop it fine. I add diced onions, bell peppers, and mushrooms and cook and stir it for about 3 to 4 minutes, and then I add in some minced garlic and tomato paste. The tomato paste helps to keep the sauce thickened and not watery. I stir that in to combine, and then add in 1 28-ounce can each of tomato sauce and crushed tomatoes. For my seasonings, I use basil, oregano, and some Italian seasonings. And because I'm using this sauce in a casserole, I'm adding in a teaspoon of garlic powder and a dash more of black pepper, giving that a good stir and simmering for 30 to 45 minutes. Give it a taste test along the way for any additional seasonings that you may like. Just a reminder that I will leave the recipe and the list of ingredients for this baked ravioli casserole below this video. Also remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video recipe and click the bell to make sure you receive notification of all my future video recipes. I have my oven preheating to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. It's time to assemble the ravioli casserole. I'm spreading a little of the sauce over the bottom to prevent sticking. You can use any raviolis that you like. These happen to be cheese raviolis, and I purchased 2 bags that were on sale. You can use any size, shape, or flavor of raviolis, and there seems to be a lot out there to choose from. This baked ravioli casserole also makes a great freezer bank meal. If you are making a homemade sauce, let the sauce cool to room temperature and then assemble the casserole using frozen raviolis. Wrap the casserole and label with the contents and baking instructions. Freeze for those busy days that you need a comforting meal. I'm just spreading out an even layer of the frozen raviolis and then covering with a layer of the sauce, some grated Parmesan cheese, and then a good layer of mozzarella cheese. I'm repeating the layers of raviolis, sauce, Parmesan cheese, and mozzarella cheese. You could also add in any vegetables like spinach, or I've also added some pepperoni in the past. This casserole is really flexible. I was able to get 3 layers of everything. The last layer should be the mozzarella cheese. This is going into a 400-degree Fahrenheit oven for 40 to 45 minutes. We really enjoy the brown cheesy crust, so I do not cover it. If you like more of a slightly brown crust, you should cover the casserole with foil for the first 30 minutes and then uncover and bake an additional 10 to 15 minutes. When it first comes out of the oven, it is piping hot, so be careful. I let it rest for a good 15 to 20 minutes. The taste, it tastes just like lasagna, and it was really easy to make. I hope you give this baked ravioli casserole a try and enjoy. If you like this video recipe, please hit the like and subscribe button. Remember to hit the bell next to the subscribe to make sure that you get my future video recipes. You can also find me on Facebook and at my website. Feel free to share this recipe and my channel with your friends and family. And until next time, much love!